You know that feeling when your brain just will not switch off? Um, like there's just this constant chatter in there, right? Going over old stuff, worrying about, I don't know, next week.
Oh, yeah. The mental committee meeting.
Exactly. If that sounds familiar, then this deep dive is definitely for you.
We're going deep into Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now.
Mm.
We've basically gone through a ton of notes and summaries, pulling out the core ideas. Think of it like getting the essential toolkit from the book.
Right. And the big question he's tackling is honestly something I think, well, everyone struggles with. How do you find genuine peace, like real contentment, when your mind's always going a mile a minute? We're looking for those aha moments, you know?
Definitely. And our mission here really is just to give you a solid grasp of Tolle's central message, and maybe more importantly, some actual things you can try, like right away in your own life.
Okay, let's dive in. So Tolle starts with this pretty foundational idea. You are not your mind, which sounds simple, but what does he actually mean by that? It feels like I am my thoughts most of the time.
That's the thing, isn't it? We get so wrapped up in that inner monologue, that stream of thoughts, that we completely identify with it. It feels like us. But Tolle asks this crucial question. Can you, just for a moment, step back? Can you observe your thoughts without automatically believing them or getting swept away?
Like watching clouds drift by.
Exactly like that. That simple act of observation. That's the first step, he says. It's about noticing the thought as a thought, not as absolute reality.
So creating a little space between me and the mental noise.
Precisely. He talks about the watcher or the observer.
Mhm.
It's the awareness behind the thoughts. Think of it like the silence underneath the sound. Recognizing that you're the silence, not just the noise. That's where the power comes from. It gives you choice.
Okay, so I'm not the worry about the deadline. I'm the one aware that the worry is happening.
You got it. You're not the thought. You're the awareness of the thought. Huge distinction. Really fundamental to everything else he talks about.
Okay. Now, he also gets into the ego and how it's tied up with time, right? Like constantly stuck in the past or projecting into the future. How does that keep us, well, stuck?
Right. So if our true self is this awareness, this consciousness, the ego is kind of like a false self. It's constructed out of thoughts, identities, stories. And yeah, it absolutely feeds on psychological time.
Meaning.
Meaning it drags us back to regrets, old hurts, resentments from the past,
Yeah.
or pushes us into anxiety about the future, obsessing over goals or what might go wrong. It needs that past-future continuum to survive, you know?
So the more I replay that argument or stress about that meeting,
Yeah.
the more you're feeding the ego, strengthening that false sense of self. And what's really fascinating, Tully says, the present moment is death to the ego.
F to the ego. Wow. Why?
Because the now is always fresh, always new. It doesn't have a story. The ego can't really function there. It needs the narrative of what was and what will be to maintain its identity. The present moment just is. That's quite a paradox. So,
Yeah.
like, how do we find this present moment if our minds are so trained to avoid it?
Well, one way he suggests is listening to the silence. Not just the external silence, but the gaps between thoughts. Those little pauses in the mental stream. He sees them as doorways
Doorways to what?
to that deeper awareness, to your actual being, which exists underneath the mental noise.
Right, and he has that quote that kind of stops you on your tracks.
Oh, yeah. The moment you realize you are not present, you are present. Just noticing you've drifted off, bam, you're back. The awareness itself is presence.
Okay, mind isn't me. Ego loves time travel. Got it. So let's get practical. How do we actually do this? How do we tap into this power of now when, life is happening? Bills, work, emails.
Yeah, the reality check. Presence is about fully engaging with this moment, whatever it holds. Tolle offers really simple anchors, things like feeling the aliveness in your hands right now. Just bring your attention there.
Okay, yeah, I can feel a sort of tingling.
Or feeling your feet on the ground, or the air on your skin. Or just listening to the sounds around you without needing to label them instantly. These things pull your awareness out of the working mind and into the sensory reality of now.
Stuff we normally just tune out, basically.
Totally. We're on autopilot.
Yeah.
But when you consciously bring your attention to these simple things, something shifts. Anxiety often lessens because it's usually about the future. Regret fades because it's rooted in the past. You might even find problems seem less overwhelming when you're not adding layers of mental interpretation.
And he talks about this pain body thing, too. What's that about? Sounds kind of grim.
Yeah, the name is a bit dramatic.
True.
But it's a useful concept. It's like an accumulation of old, unresolved emotional pain inside us, like an energy field of past suffering.
Okay.
And when we're not present, when we're unconscious, this pain body can get activated by events or even just thoughts. and it wants more pain. It feeds on drama, negativity, conflict.
Well, wants us to suffer.
In a way, yeah, it wants to perpetuate itself. But the key is your conscious presence, your awareness, is like light shining on it. The pain body can't survive in the light of presence. It starts to dissolve.
So next time I feel like a wave of anger or sadness, instead of getting lost in the story of why I feel that way.
Just feel the energy of the emotion in your body. Observe it. Be the awareness around the feeling without judging it or feeding it with more thought. That awareness is incredibly powerful. It starts to break the cycle.
Makes sense. But the ego isn't just going to let us hang out in the now, is it? What tricks does it use to pull us back out?
Oh, it's got a whole bag of tricks. Tully points out some common ones. Obsessive planning, way beyond what's needed, just escaping the present task. Constant daydreaming or fantasizing, overthinking and analyzing everything to death. And of course, strong emotional reactions that just completely hijack your attention.
Okay, wait. Planning isn't bad though, right? I need to plan my week.
Absolutely not. Tolle makes that clear. Practical planning, done from a place of presence, is essential. It's when planning becomes a compulsive escape from the present, a way to mentally live in the future, because that now feels uncomfortable or boring. That's the ego trap.
Gotcha. And that whole I'll be happy when thing, like when I get the promotion or lose the weight or find a partner.
Classic ego strategy. It constantly projects happiness onto some future achievement or acquisition. It keeps you striving, dissatisfied with the present, because true fulfillment, Tolle argues, can only ever be found now. Happiness isn't a destination. It's rooted in your state of consciousness right here.
So how do we actively cultivate more presence, make it less of a fleeting thing and more of a default state?
It's really about practice, intentionally shifting your attention again and again. Tolle describes presence as this state of heightened awareness, being really rooted in the current reality. It's like you become aware of the life energy, the aliveness in and around you. You stop resisting the moment and start sort of merging with it.
And you mentioned simple ways, like focusing on breath.
Exactly. Focusing on the breath is huge. Feeling the in-breath, feeling the out-breath, or feeling the soles of your feet connecting with the earth as you walk. Listening deeply to sounds without the instant mental labels, just hearing the texture of the sound. These aren't complicated things, but doing them consistently is the key. That's it. Consistency builds the muscle of presence. It gradually becomes more natural, and as that happens, suffering really does diminish. Not because life stops throwing curveballs, but because your inner relationship to those curveballs changes fundamentally. You're not adding resistance.
He also talks about the inner body as another way in. What's the inner body, distinct from just, my physical body?
Yeah, it's a subtle but powerful distinction. The inner body is the felt sense of aliveness pervading your physical form. It's that energy field you can feel when you bring your attention inside. Tolle sees it as a very direct portal to the funner, because feeling it instantly takes you out of your head.
So tuning into that inner feeling bypasses the thinking mind.
Pretty much, yeah. You can't really think and feel your inner body intensely at the same time. And connecting with it is incredibly grounding. It brings peace, reduces reactivity, and even suggests it has healing benefits.
Could you, walk us through a quick way someone listening could try that, just for a moment?
Sure. Okay, wherever you're listening, just take a second. Maybe close your eyes if that feels right. Take a conscious breath. Now, can you feel the subtle aliveness inside your hands? Don't think about your hands. Just feel them from within. Any tingling, warmth, vibration?
Yeah, a little bit.
Good. Now see if you can feel it in your feet, that sense of energy. And now maybe expand that awareness to feel the aliveness throughout your entire body, like a unified field of energy. Just rest there for a breath or two, feeling that inner presence.
Okay. Yeah, that does feel different, quieter.
That's the inner body. A direct link to presence, always available.
Now, Tolle also brings up the unmanifested. This sounds a bit more abstract, maybe.
It definitely can sound that way. He's drawing a distinction between the manifested world, everything we perceive, all forms, objects, thoughts, emotions, and the unmanifested, which is the source of all that. It's the formless awareness, the stillness, the pure being before it takes form.
Okay. Formless awareness. How on earth do we connect with that?
Not through thinking. He suggests certain portals moments where the manifested world becomes less dense, allowing the unmanifested to shine through more easily, like deep silence, profound stillness, the space between thoughts we mentioned earlier.
Oh, okay.
Also deep sleep, certain meditative states, and crucially, the act of surrender, letting go of resistance. Point is, it's not something you see or grasp with the mind. It's something you feel or sense as a deep inner peace, a profound stillness.
And this stillness isn't just empty, right? He says it's where things come from.
Exactly. He says stillness is where creativity and solutions are born. When the mental noise quiets down, that deeper intelligence, that intuitive knowing, has space to emerge. It's the source.
Makes sense. Okay, let's bring this into relationships because that's often where the rubber meets the road with this stuff, isn't it? Lots of triggers there.
Absolutely. Prime territory for the ego and the pain body. Tolle points out that when people are unconscious, their pain bodies tend to activate each other constantly. It's why relationships can become cycles of drama and conflict.
Didn't there?
Haven't we all? But here's the hopeful part. If even one person in the dynamic starts cultivating presence, it can change everything.
How so? If I stay present when my partner, say, is losing it a bit.
Well, instead of instantly reacting from your own triggered place, you might be able to just be there, to listen without judgment, to see their pain, maybe fueled by their pain body, without taking it personally or needing to fight back. You offer space instead of reaction.
That sounds hard, but powerful.
It is hard, but it breaks the reactive cycle. Your presence can actually help soothe their state, or at least not escalate it. Tolle goes so far as to say true love is presence. Not the needy, clingy, ego-based stuff, but the simple, aware presence you offer another being.
Wow. That reframes love quite a bit. And he also challenges the whole pursuit of happiness, doesn't he? What's his alternative?
Yeah, he suggests that presence leads to something deeper than the fluctuating states of happiness and unhappiness. It's not about becoming numb or emotionless, but about finding an underlying peace that isn't dependent on whether things are going well or badly externally.
So it's a piece that's always there, underneath the surface waves.
Exactly. He calls this deeper state joy, but not like giddy excitement, more of a quiet, steady radiance, a sense of okayness that comes from connecting with being itself. His advice is pretty blunt. Don't seek happiness. Seek presence. Happiness follows. Or rather, this deeper joy reveals itself.
Seek presence first.
Okay?
And lastly, this idea of surrender, that word can be tricky. It sounds passive, like giving up.
It really does, but that's not Tully's meaning at all. For him, surrender isn't resignation. It's the intelligent, courageous act of letting go of inner resistance to what is. It's accepting the reality of the present moment, even if you don't like it.
Accepting it doesn't mean I can't try to change things, though.
Not at all. You can still take action, but the action arises from a place of acceptance, not resistance. Tolle calls this surrendered action. It flows more easily, more peacefully, because you're aligned with the failed collagen. Now, not fighting it, there's less struggle, less friction.
So action from acceptance feels different, more effortless, maybe.
Definitely more effortless, more powerful often, too, because you're not wasting energy on internal conflict. And he says something profound. Whatever you accept completely will take you to peace. Even intense suffering, when fully accepted internally, loses its painful grip and can become a doorway to peace.
That's a lot to take in. So if we boil it down for you listening, the core is, you're not the voice in your head. This moment right now is all there really is, and bringing your awareness to this moment is the key. It dissolves the old pain, quiets the ego,
and opens you up to a deeper sense of peace or joy. And you can start small. Just notice your breath sometimes. Notice your thoughts without grabbing onto them. Feel the aliveness in your hands or feet for a few seconds throughout the day. It's not about adding more doing, but more being.
It feels like the fundamental shift he's pointing to is moving from a life lived mostly in the head, worrying about the future, regretting the past, to a life experienced more fully through the senses, in the body, right here, right now.
Exactly. So maybe a final thought to leave you with. Just consider, how might your experience of the rest of today change, even slightly, if you consciously chose to really inhabit the now whenever you remember? What might open up if you stop waiting for life to start later and engage fully with it as it is, right this second?
Powerful stuff to ponder. Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive into the power of now.